All right, hey guys, happy fuck it Friday. Just got home from, you know what? I didn't just get home from work. To be honest, I'm slacking this week a little bit. After last week's epic, epic fuck it Friday, I didn't actually have a plan. I got so excited because last week I was like sitting at work vibrating because I'd come up with that plan of drinking the the batch 1000 with that crazy huge stout, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get home and do that. And this week I was sitting at work and I was like, I'm just gonna go home and do whatever's around. So I couldn't find a dark beer that had a decent ABV. So I had to dig around in the cellar to find something that could be used. I found me a bottle of Yeti sitting up there. Threw it in the freezer for like 30-40 minutes. So it's pretty cool now. And yeah, that's gonna be my base. Yeti. Yeti came to Sweden a few years ago, and it was really cheap, like outrageously cheap when I was visiting Sweden one time. So I picked up like a ton of them because I'd never tried it, and I'd heard that it was a great beer. And I bought a bunch of them, and then I only drank a couple. But yeah, all right. Here's Yeti. All right, and here's the topper. Oh wait, well here's the topper. Here's my thingamajig. And this is what I chose from a light Daisy Cutter from Half Acre. I'm gonna try and use as little as possible of Daisy Cutter because I haven't actually gotten to try it yet. But it's a little old. The release that we got in Denmark. It's about 4 months old, I think. So I heard that it's not the freshest, but I've heard a lot of good things about Daisy Cutter, so looking forward to trying it on its own. Got a whole half liter of it, or pint or whatever. Man, you know what? I really thought that this was gonna. Oh, there. It always just starts to separate right at the end. I think that the holes are too big in my apparatus here. Let's see. Oh. It was canned in December, so it's what, 3 months old. Oh, it's still nice. That's a damn fine pale ale right there. I'm gonna ignore that for a second. Oh, wow, that's really nice. I'm gonna enjoy that. Drinking the rest of that. Back to business, though. Yeah, I think the holes on my apparatus here are too big, and they're letting too much liquid in at first. So I think that I need to rebuild. I need to rebuild with smaller holes. Somehow sounds dirty. Good thing that this is a pretty cheap build. All right, there was a tiny bit of separation there at the top. You can see it. You can see it. All y'all can see it. Look at that. Man, there is something with a good hoppy beer on top of a strong imperial stout that's just... I really like black IPAs. I really like well-made black IPAs because you can get ones that are basically just hoppy stouts. But even those have their place. But this is like a really nice, not quite as nice as last week's, which was kind of just over the top, but yeah, it's nice. The Daisy Cutter is so refreshing and hoppy, and then it's just got that little bit of roasted from the Yeti I'm pulling in. It's really nice. And of course, I mean, the name is pretty easy on this, is the Yeti Cutter. Oh, yeah, that's right, Yeti Cutter. That's nice. Yeah, what's been going on? It's been a crazy week. My new work is really starting to, yeah, it's really starting to, I was going to say heat up, but I don't work with like fire or anything, so I don't know. I'm sure you guys know what I mean by that. Yeah, so if you noticed, especially if you've been subscribed for quite a while, basically my channel has really just been this stuff for the past like month or so, and excuse me, and I feel kind of bad about that. I feel, on the one hand, it's actually really gotten me more in touch with the community, opened up a lot more dialogue, and I mean, you know, that's really nice, and I really enjoy watching other people's, because you get kind of a look into people's lives, which I appreciate. But I do wish that I could get back to doing some more brewing related stuff, and it is coming. I've still got that same beer, the first Grainfather beer. It's still in the fermenter. I actually just dry hopped it yesterday, because I don't have the space. I don't have the kegs. Just these 2 taps, and I don't have anywhere to, you know, at the brew house, I used to be able to, you know, I'd have my 2 kegs at home, and then, you know, we could be stacking brews down there, because we could have, you know, one more conditioning in the keg, you know, waiting for space here, and we'd have another one in the fermentation chamber. We'd have 2, 3 in the fermentation chamber. I mean, we got wild, you know, for a while there last summer. I think we were brewing every weekend, and you know, that has its own issues with having, you know, too much beer. But now it's like, now I only have the 1 fermenter. I mean, I have stuff in storage, but for all intents and purposes, I can have 2 beers on tap and 1 in the fermenter, and never the twain shall meet. So, you know, I need to finish one of these kegs to put that beer in, and I need to put that beer in a keg before I can brew another beer to put in that fermenter. And yeah, it's completely new, and it's completely thrown off that. And I mean, I'm just 185,000 times busier than I used to be. So when the weekend rolls around, I just, yeah, I don't know. No, instead of rambling, I'm just complaining. I complained in the last video too. I'm sorry. Yeah, I gotta quit complaining. I gotta look to the future. And the future is that I am going to get one of them little mini kegs. Because the other thing is that once these 2 beers are the last beers from the old joint, and then, you know, once I empty the keg and I get that beer in there, then that beer has to carbonate and everything else, and then the other one's going to kick, and then I'm basically forever only going to be able to have 1 beer on while another one is waiting to ferment. Or anyway, so I have been wanting to do some experiments with meads and ciders for a while now, and my wife is actually interested in it, because she likes cider, and I think that the kind of mead that I'm thinking of, I think that she would also appreciate that. I like mead. I like the big meads, the normal strength ones, or, well, normal for here, I guess, that are like wine strength, 10-12%. Those are fine. To me, though, they're more like liqueurs, The mead that I really like is stuff like Bee Nectar is making in Michigan. I don't know if you've, and there's a couple of other meaderies I've tried from Michigan, and they're making like lightly carbonated ice. In my brain, I say sessionable meads, but you know, meads that are between 5 and 7%. They're usually around like 5-6%. And I mean, that seems reasonable because you wouldn't need a lot of honey to get to that gravity, and you really wouldn't need the time, because the time on mead is what. I mean, I'd like to get some long-term ones, but I just don't have any place to. It all comes down to storage, and I don't have storage anymore, so I can't line up. It's the same thing. I'd love to do sour beers, but I don't have anywhere to put them. I mean, I have to. When I left the brewing place, I had to get a storage space, like one of those lockers, you know, at a storage locker joint, to put all my brewing stuff in, because it actually wouldn't even go in here if I mean, it could, but it would make the place look even more cluttered than it is, being under construction. So anyway, I'm getting back into that whining again. Damn it. Yeah, but mead, cider, that's what I'm really interested in. If you've ever had Zombie Killer from Bee Nectar, that is my jam. I love that stuff. It's cider, mead, cherry juice. It's like right up my alley. And it has alcohol in it, so it's like completely up my alley. It's like at the end of the alley looking back. But so that's kind of what I'm gonna try and start doing, some small experiments with that. And I'm gonna put that in the mini keg and keep that, because it's also something that doesn't necessarily have to be all that carbonated either. And that's going to kind of be the buffer in between beers. So I've always got, you know, always got some booze on tap. And then hopefully my wife will even maybe get into that a little bit. So my plans for the future involve mead and cider. I was going to talk about something else, but it totally slipped my mind. This isn't even that strong. It's a session beer compared to last week's. 9.5 on the Yeti. I think the Daisy Cutter is like 5. So yeah, it's not quite 16% or whatever last week's would have worked out to. Holy crap! 13 minutes. We're already up there. So I hope that this week's wasn't super boring. Wasn't really prepared with any challenges or cool beers to black and tan. You know what? This beer is really cool. So I'm actually there's more of it at the beer store too. I'm gonna go pick up some more cans because it is expensive. Sorry, I had a thought in my head while I was drinking, and then I wanted to say something else, and instead I put the thought from my head out to you guys. I was gonna ask, this can cost like the equivalent of $10 here. What does this cost in the US? I think Nate, I think that you said that you get this. It's an Illinois brewery, so Chicago. So yeah, let me know. Everything's more expensive here, but anyway, I'm back to a proper ramble. So with that, I'm gonna leave you. Goodbye. Oh.